Wow, is all I can say after that one. Welcome into Follow Everton, everybody. I am your buddy, Domino Chris. I have experienced, I'm pretty sure I've experienced every emotion, almost every emotion possible in the last 45 minutes. And I don't even know what to say. What a strike by Mick Keggers. Redemption. You heard it here first in terms of calling the Michael Keane goal before the match. I've said it for the last week. I did say 1-0 to be fair, so my bet wouldn't have come in nonetheless. What a cracker of a shot. I've seen it 5 times and can't see it enough. There's so much to unpack from this game. I'm going to try to go in order because I think people forget how whatever. We're just going to go in order. There's so much to say from this game. I've got the possession or the statistics up. We had 15 shots, 6 on goal, 8 shots for Spurs, 2 on goal. Spurs had 61% of the possession. I'm assuming most of that came in the first half because even after Decore gets sent off and we go down to 10 men, I really thought Everton were the better team. Spurs tried everything they could to mess this game up, and they eventually did so. There's so much to say. Thanks everybody in the comments. I think we're gonna have quite a show for the post match today because there's, like I said, not only is there so much to unpack, that was such an emotional, just roller coaster to say the least. Mr. Toffees, what's up, buddy? Everton Radio is top notch. To be fair, there's a lot of people talking about Kane. I have a lot to say about Kane. We'll get to that in a second. Here he is, Mark. Chris called it Kane penalty and Keane to score. I definitely called half of that. I think we had a mixture. A lot of folks did say the Kane penalty. Good Lord, man. I wish the only regret I have is that I didn't have my live reaction to that goal. To the person who sorry, I forgot who said it beforehand. We were talking about doing a live reaction or a live watch along. Today would have been the day to do it because the only regret I have is not getting my live reaction to that goal on video because I went absolutely berserk. And it took me 2 or 3 minutes to calm down. I scared my dog, so hopefully he's doing okay now. I was so scared he left the room because I was just I screamed at the top of my lungs. The only one I could think of that compares to that was during the Palace game last season. What a strike by Keane. My God. I don't know if he'll ever hit one as sweet. To be fair, though, I said that after he scored first against Palace last season. It was just a perfect shot. Hello, Nikki. How are you? Good to see you. Okay, so let's start. I'm told I'm echoing sound. Am I good? You're the Jack, you're the only one that's saying that, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's on your end or if it is mine. Jatorix, I startled my coworkers. Yeah, hell yeah, man. Get in there. Okay, so let's start from the beginning here. We'll get to Kane here in a second. Start from the beginning here. It's a good sequence. Gray has that early shot on 2 minutes. I've taken a few notes here. To be fair, though, I stopped taking notes after Decore got sent off because I was just so frustrated. But second minute, Gray has a close chance. I thought Iwobi should have shot, but we'll get past that. Pickford with a great save on 5 minutes. Michael Keane saves a sure goal on 9 minutes, and I put a star by that one because I was thinking the whole first half, don't forget that Keane save, right? A lot of wasted possession. It seemed like there were a lot of nerves. We're having some final third touches, but we just can't seem to make the right touch. But we're about 12, 15 minutes in, not too much. I thought we were very predictable in the first half. Obviously, McNeil on the left foot and Wobie's going to the right foot. And it's no secret we want to cross, but you thought they would mix it up a little bit. Whatever. It's nothing bad. And Spurs were fairly sloppy as well. There weren't really any super chances other than the one that Keane saved off the line for the first, 30 minutes or so. And then 47 minutes, Ghana squanders probably the biggest chance of the game to that point. It's a counter, a turnover by, I forget the Spurs player who turned the ball over. I think it's a 4-on-2 the other way, and we don't as much get a shot on goal. And then comes just the nonsense. So I don't know. Here's the thing. I thought it was extremely weak on Kane's part. We all know. I mean, Kane went down like he got shot. We all know what he's doing. My issue is still it's 100% on Decore. You don't give the referee. We get influenced, or excuse me, we get enough bad decisions, right? The referee is influenced enough by whoever and I'm not a referee blamer every single match, but it's just shocking sometimes. It turns you into a conspiracy theorist how many decisions go against us. As a result of this, why would you ever give the referee the reason to send you off? Give the referee just a free reason to actually influence the game. It's 100% on Decore. Yes, Kane went down like a what. Kane was a whiny excuse. I put it on Twitter. He's a whiny excuse of a footballer in that moment. Kane is a world-class player. I'm not going to deny that. And if you don't think that, then I think you're just kind of a bitter we're angry at him at the moment, whatever. I don't like Harry Kane, whatever the case is, but he is a world-class footballer. Not in that moment, he wasn't. He went down like he was shot. He went down like a ton of bricks off a very weak. But having said that, Decore's lost his head. We've seen this now a lot over the last month, maybe 3-4 times, whatever the case. This time it went a little too far. There's no argument. You saw Seamus Coleman giving it to Decore right after it happened. There's no argument. It's a red. You don't slap somebody in the face, plain and simple. Some people might not want to hear that, but I don't think that's on the ref. It's on Decore. I want to say the answer is 3. Yes, you can appeal it. So we saw that last season. I believe Alan tried to get his appeal or get his 3-match suspension reversed. I don't remember which game that was. I want to say Newcastle, but whatever the case was, he was out for the next 3 after that. I think we all know what he meant there. Many decisions go against that. It's just a fact. It does happen. One of Decore's weaknesses is hothead, be passionate, but not over the top. Yeah, and we've said that for weeks. We love his passion, and he's put a couple goals in, but it was almost like a ticking time bomb, so to speak, and you're waiting for something bad to happen. And I didn't think it would react. I didn't think it would happen like this. I thought it would be some kind of crazy shoving match, but I mean, he just right away, right when it happened, the foul's called. Kane kind of gives Gray a little. Not much there, but it's enough to be a little bit angry. But then Decore just goes and kick the ball. Then it's a little bit of a coming together, and then Decore just goes straight for the face. I don't know what he's thinking in that moment. No idea whatsoever. But it just can't happen. It just cannot happen. And then of course we've seen this movie before. Then all of a sudden there's a penalty. Clear. I think it's a pen. I don't think there's much argument there. Keane catches him. Kane buries it. It's 1-0 Spurs, and you're thinking, okay, that's that then. Not only given the fact that how we've kind of hung our head recently, with the exception of Chelsea, but we talked about it before the game. Maybe that was a little bit of a turnaround in case we do concede first, and it proved to be that. And Spurs were so sloppy throughout this game. Turnovers, wasted possession, whatever the case. And it was almost like when we went down to 10 men, it got worse, and we brought it to them. To be fair, some of these turnovers were forced. Everton absolutely looked up for the challenge, taking it to them with the press, staying on the front foot. It was almost like you felt something coming. Now, I personally thought if we stayed at 10 men, if they stayed at 11, it was going to be something off the set piece. But then Lucas Moura, what are you thinking? What a straight red for that, for an awful challenge on Michael Keane. Moura goes off. I texted a couple of my friends and said, I hope it's not too late, because what was that, on 86, 87 minutes, whatever. I said, oh man, we might just not have enough minutes. And then bang, all of a sudden it's in the net. What a strike from Michael Keane. It hasn't earned a new contract. That's been in the talks lately because he has been playing well. He was playing well in the first half this game too. But it was an idiotic move. I don't see an argument. If you don't think, if you want to blame the ref on this one, I guess you're entitled to your opinion. I think it's on Decore 100%. I'm told Mabsy was given the ref at halftime though, so nothing new there. Get in there, Mabsy, my guy. Oh my goodness. What an emotional roller coaster, though. Listen, we come away with the point. We're out of the bottom 3. It wasn't what we wanted before the game. Some people said they'd settle for a draw, and honestly, quite obviously, given how things played out, of course we'd take the draw. We're down to 10 men early in the second half. 52nd minute, I think, was when Decore got the red. So, of course, we take the draw after that. And we still had chances to win it. Shades of 2012 were popping in my head, because as that, even after the goal went in, excuse me, we're still taking it to Spurs. After that, Tarkovsky's got a decent chance at the end. Man, what a game. What a game. Okay, so this is how the table looks. Let me get this up. I'll get to more of your comments in a second. Sorry, guys. I'm a little bit, my head is a bit all over the place right now, as you might well imagine. So this is what it looks like now. Everton are in 15th. The point ends up being huge. You've got 4 teams, 14 to 17th on 27 points. That leaves the bottom 3 looking like Leeds, Leicester, and Southampton. Leeds play Forest tomorrow, I believe. I'll get that up here in a second. Tomorrow's fixtures. And we'll look about that. Decore suspended for 3 games. I'll be curious to see what the appeal. I mean, I don't think there's any penalty for an appeal, so I can see. Of course, we'll probably appeal it. I don't think it'll be overturned by any means. So then it becomes who will we play in his absence, and that's something I'll get to in a bit as well. Jator says right here, who will start in his place? Garner, I assume. Garner came on at the end today. He does exist. Surely not Davis. I wouldn't I wouldn't say that because it wouldn't shock me at all if Tom gets in, whether you like him or not, or whether you want to see it or not. It wouldn't shock me at all if Davis is going to be the starter for a couple of reasons. One, he's got more minutes this season, more experience this season at least, and then perhaps Garner's not ready to play a full match yet. That's just speculation, though. I don't know what's true and what isn't, and how he looks in training, etc. I needed to walk before I did a decoy. Glad I came in time to catch 1-1. I hope they didn't score when you were outside, because if so, I hope you stayed outside. No offense, Wanderlust. Decoria was the best player on the pitch before he got sent off. He was playing well. I don't know if he was the best, but he certainly was playing well. I thought Onana played well today, even if a couple of his shots were coming from outside the box, and I thought they were fine. You never know what's going to happen if you put it on net. Tesla Reese a little bit. I have no issue with that. I thought Onana had a very good game today. I thought a lot of Blues had a very good game today. A little bit of wasted possession in the final third. I thought the touches were a bit lacking there, but in terms of just open play, I thought we played fine. We were up for it. We won almost all of the 50-50 balls. I don't think James Tarkovsky lost a header today at all. And to say I was worried when he was on the ground in the first half would be an understatement, because we absolutely cannot lose James Tarkovsky. No chance Chris Gray's not a midfielder. I'm not sure if you mean me or another Chris. Oh, I see now. Chris Light's right here. Gray can play as a box-to-box advanced playmaker in Decory's role a mile. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. And for a couple, and let's just say, for instance, that I do, I would actually leave Gray up top. I think that that's working fine. But that's, again, we'll get to that, what the lineup might look like towards the end of the show. Man of the match, Tarkovsky. Man of the match, Iwobi. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can give the man of the match to Keane strictly because he gave away the penalty. Having said that, he saved a short goal in the first half and then scored a worldie. So Keane gets man of the match shouts, in my opinion, as well. But Tarkovsky will probably get the nod from me as well. I don't have player ratings yet. I might try to make those as the show goes on. As long as Leicester, Bournemouth, and Leeds don't all win tomorrow, we won't be in the bottom three going into the Man U game on Saturday. To be honest, even if we are, I don't really care. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but it's just a matter of I've said it before. I'll say it every single week. We're not going to know which teams we want to win. These numbers are going to change early and often, and everything is going to change on the day. So it'll be interesting. Obviously, I hope to not see us in the bottom three, but the point is, even if we are, we can't be in the bottom three by more than a point, or possibly even just goal difference. So I'm not worried yet. And the way that this team responded when they went down to 10 minutes, that doesn't give you reason for optimism for the rest of the season. I don't know what will. Kane will get mocked in the press for his antics. Yeah, I'd like to think that, but it's Harry Kane, and so he's exempt from some of this mocking for some reason, and I don't think he should be. And you saw the players giving it to him both right after it happened and after the game. He's trying to have a conversation with Seamus Coleman and Jordan Pickford, and it's just a joke. Regardless of what, like I said, it's still, I can't say it enough. It's on Decore. You have to maintain composure in that moment. I even said that a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember if if it was Chelsea or Brentford or whatever the case where Decore, you can see him getting hot-headed. It's unnecessary. You have to maintain composure. You're a professional, and you're putting your team in a bad spot. Gray is a forward and want to play one forward, so if Gray plays, it's got to be up front. That's my opinion as well. Goodness. Large period of 10v11. Spurs needed a penalty lead. As soon as Morrison off, we equalized. Fair to say we were decent today. Thought we played fine. Thought the draw was deserved. I thought you can make an argument that we deserved to win. I thought we were the much better team. Not a biased opinion. I just even from a neutral perspective, I thought that we were. So good to see Mick get on the score sheet, especially after that. I'm gonna watch that. That's one of those goals after the season you're gonna watch for a long, long time. We should push Onana further forward in Decore's position, play Garner further back. That's an interesting shout. I think Amy said on numerous occasions Onana was not brought in to be an offensive powerhouse by any means. Now, having said that, he does provide that. He does provide that quality. Obviously, he's got the height to make plays like that, seemingly like Decore has for the last few weeks. I could see him nicking a header every now and then. It's just I'm curious what's going through Deitch's mind right now, because he has to know. Again, you can appeal it if you want, but he has to know he's going to be without Decore for 3 games. And Decore's been a big part of this team the last 3 weeks. So we can hope that James Garner's fit. What a game. What a strike by Keane. I might just harp on that for the next 30 minutes. It really was, though. If we wouldn't get in trouble, I'd show it live on stream, but I don't think we would. But I don't want to test that. Have to get written permission from Ryan first. Why wouldn't he go down if you get a hit in the face? He can't fight back. Otherwise, he gets sent off. You have a point from I guess from a football perspective. I mean, this day and age, everybody goes down all the time, no matter what. But it's weak for me. Um, going through the comments here. Thanks to everybody who's joining. We appreciate it. We've got plenty of views on Twitter and YouTube at the moment. We appreciate all of our fans joining us today. If you haven't liked already, please do that. Oh man. Good times. Good times. Good times. Good times. Keane is Keane is what did I just do here? Andrew, I accidentally just blocked you. That was a complete accident. I don't know how to unblock you. I'm gonna try and I don't even know how that happened. Hang on, let me write that down to try and unblock you afterwards. I really do apologize. I was trying to right click on your comment and do something else, and then unfortunately I hit block. So I will get that fixed after the stream because I'm not tech savvy and I'll have to ask Ryan how to do that. So I do apologize. I hope you don't hold that against me, but okay, let's take a look. Sorry, further look at the table. I'm again, my head's all over the place. I'm trying to maintain composure here as a host, so I will do my best. So our quote unquote bottom nine now, which by the way, if a couple of these wins, if a couple quote unquote bottom teams get a couple of more wins and Chelsea continue to be Chelsea, we'll all of a sudden make it a bottom 10 just for fun and just to aggravate Chelsea fans. But I don't really see that happening. So Palace get a win. They're on 30 points. Wolves with an interesting result this past weekend. West Ham get their win. Obviously, the match we just saw, Everton. Bournemouth look like a better team. Unfortunately, they get pushed down to 17th. I want to say they were either 14th or 15th after their win. But again, can't stress enough. 14th through 17th is the same thing right now. So that number at this juncture doesn't matter. Goal difference isn't really going to come into play just yet because how these teams win and how they lose is going to make a big difference. The only team really safe in terms of goal difference at this point, I think, is West Ham, given that their goal difference is -9. But West Ham at times this season have just been so sloppy. And I know they just won. I know they have a game in hand. Can't stress enough. Their fixture congestion will come into play, given that they're still in Europe. If I'm David Moyes, I say screw off with Europe. We have to worry about the Premier League. I don't think we'll see a full West Ham squad going into those European games in the next couple weeks, I believe. Let me look at the we'll get this up here in just a second because I want to look at the Tuesday and Wednesday fixtures as well. But let's talk about this game. Please jump in the comments. I know you have already. Please keep that going because the reactions to this game are going to be very emotional. If I'm an Everton fan, I'm very optimistic after this game, given how the team responded. Yes, we had a little help from Spurs with Lucas Moura sent off. I'm not denying that, but for those 30 to 35 minutes or whatever it was before he got sent off, when we had 10 men, the team really pressed. The team really provided the fight, and I think there's something to be said about that. I'm very proud of this team performance. Shout out to all my North American Toffee friends who went over. You got to see a pretty good game. Obviously, unfortunate with the red, but you got to see quite a fight, especially the first timers out there, and you got to experience what I can imagine was a hostile and fantastic Goodison atmosphere because they were really pushing this team along in the second half, especially in the second half. Maybe a different shape against United with Mopé or Sims up front by themselves. Dyche will pick team to win, which is fine by me. Confidence improving each week. Teams above 36 will survive. I think the number is going to be a little bit higher than that, given don't forget that even though there are a lot of teams in the bottom 9, they are also going to be playing each other, which means there will be some wins picked up along the way. I think the point totals will go up a little bit. I don't agree with Mopé or Sims up front by themselves. I still think that Gray is going to have a role up front. I just am curious to see how that's going to go along. We just need to worry about our games. Hey, I can't stress that enough. That's what it's going to come down to. Dyche says it. I've said it for weeks. I think you're spot on with that. Gray probably gave Keane some shooting pointers. Yeah, I don't know about that. What a shot. Duke's out. There's a chance James Garner to stake a claim. Yeah, there is, if he's fully fit. And I mean, if he saw minutes today, you have to think he's fully fit. But again, there's a difference between fresh legs Garner for 10 or 15 minutes where you can give it your all, and 90 minutes or 70-minute James Garner, whatever the case, a starting position, put it that way, 60 plus, something like that. James Garner has to play now. Yeah, that seems to be the unanimous shout. And I think part of it is because there's a lot of folks out there who don't want to see a full starting Tom Davis. Given his recent performances, I can't blame you for that. But I hope that if he does start, that we support him. He's wearing a blue shirt. He's one of us, whether you agree or disagree with his performances. Support him no matter what. That's my 2 cents. Love how Lloris just stood there in shock as the ball flew past him. Thunderbolt. Loved it. Love it. I'm curious. The American broadcast said that I wonder what would have happened if it's a yellow given to Decore and then it goes to VAR. Do they upgrade that to a red? Would have at least just been an interesting talking point. Instead, it's a straight red, and no idea. It was. I'm assuming it was reviewed. I don't know all of the VAR rules. I'm pretty sure it can get reviewed in that instance, right? But regardless, it wasn't. It wasn't overturned. It doesn't surprise me. Again, it's on Decore. You don't hit somebody in the face, plain and simple. Even if it is weak, even if it is just a brush, don't give the ref a reason to do it. Don't give the referee a reason. Okay, let's take a look at these upcoming fixtures here. We'll get that up in just a second. Thanks again to everybody for joining us. It's going to be, I can imagine we'll probably be on for about an hour today. I'm expecting, I know they're just leaving the park, the Follow Everton crew, Ryan, Jan, Amy, Mabs, Jeff, the whole crew, with the exception of me and John, were at the game today in the steak.com hospitality box. And to say that they were having the time of their life beforehand is an understatement. And good on them. You deserve it, boys and girls. Fantastic. All right, let's look. Sorry, give me 1 second. We'll get the schedule up. All right, let's look at the upcoming fixtures. Shithouse from Cam, but Decore reacted the wrong way. Deitch should have gotten it and broken up quicker. Yeah, but he can't really do that, can he? I mean, you got to remember, if you go and watch it back, it all happened in less than 2 seconds. So there's not much Deitch can do in that sense. Go back, maybe even less than maybe about a second and a half, whatever. There's nothing Deitch could have done in that moment. I went back and watched it a couple times. Nothing he could have done. Heard that too. Thought the Chelsea match with the midfielder whacked play on the week, few weeks back. Yeah, that's the thing. And here's what a lot of people don't want to hear: that if Kane does that to Decore and then Decore goes down like he got shot, it's not a red. And call me whatever you want. Call me a conspiracy theorist if you're not an Everton fan. I don't care. I absolutely believe that that's not a red if it goes the other way. Is what it is. Call it bias. Call it whatever you like. I'll say it all day. I'll say it all day tomorrow. I'll say it whenever we do our next show. It's still 100% on Decore. You cannot lose your head like that. Is what it is. Let's see the fixtures. Okay, we got this up. Let me get the screen shared again. We've got 4 fixtures on Tuesday and 2 on Wednesday. Tuesday, we've got Bournemouth home to Brighton. I would never bet against Brighton or Bournemouth at this juncture. All Brighton do is continue to surprise in their form. I want to say that I'll have the table up right here as well. Brighton are 6th in the table right now. It's going to be tough to get any higher than that. Top 4 might be a little bit out. They do have games in hand. Spurs have played 29. They have a 7-point cushion, but Brighton at least still have it in their own hands to catch Spurs. United will be a little bit tougher. They're also on 50 points with 27 games played. So we'll see what Brighton can do. But having said all that, at this point, I wouldn't bet against Bournemouth either, because they just look like a team that won't say no. Not to mention, it's still a midweek game after both of them played matches this past weekend. So we'll be interested to see how that one goes. Leeds and Forest is the one that a lot of fans will have an eye on, given that that's a bottom 9 matchup, if you like, a 16th versus 18th at this point, both separated by just 1 point. A goal difference not going well for Forest, so obviously they're going to want to get some goals on the board. Leeds at home, I think, will be fine in that match. Forest's away record is worse than Everton's. They're actually the worst in the league, so I don't expect Forest to put much. I won't say they won't put much of a fight, but I think Leeds are going to take that one. Obviously, we want to draw. We'll see how it goes. But Forest winning, I would say, would be the worst scenario for us. But we'll see. Leicester home to Villa. Villa have been on fire lately. Leicester don't have a manager. Who knows when they'll name one? It could be tomorrow. It could be later today. Only because we don't. Well, I guess not. Over there, it's a little bit late. I'm still on American time. It's 4:28 over here, but I don't think we'll hear anything out of them today. But at what point in the week will it get named? Because the indication is that Leicester want to name a manager sooner rather than later. And then speaking of not having a manager, Chelsea are also in that club, and they're playing Liverpool at home. Interesting one. Liverpool's away form has been absolutely dreadful. Chelsea's form, on all accounts, has been underachieving and underwhelming, especially at home. So who knows what they're going to do and if they'll name a manager anytime soon as well. Wednesday, United are home to Brentford. That game doesn't have any bearing on us. It'll just be kind of one you can sit back and watch if you like. I think more of our fans will be watching West Ham versus Newcastle. West Ham coming off both teams coming off a win, I should say. West Ham's home form has been pretty good lately, despite their position in the table. all things considered. So we'll see how West Ham will respond to that. And Newcastle finally have another clean sheet. It had been a while before since they got one, and a big win over United for them to go third in the table as they try to maintain their position in the top four. What city am I in? I'm in rural Arizona. I am in North Houston, Texas, in an area called the Woodlands. So not too far. Well, far driving distance, but not too bad of a flight. What part of Arizona are you in? I'm actually curious. I love Arizona, by the way. One of the most underrated states in America. Phoenix is a fantastic place. Tucson as well. A lot of the bottom sides play each other to the run. And yeah, that's why you're going to hear me say this a lot over the next few weeks. And I've said it a lot over the past few weeks. It's hard to I understand how natural emotions can run when you're score watching other games and who you think you want to win. There's so much football left that it will absolutely drive you insane because two wins in this table take not only take you out of the bottom three, but take you to basically 12th. Like, let's say Leeds were to win their next two matches, they'd be on 32 points, and then all of a sudden Palace might drop down here, or Wolves might drop. You never know who you want to win, and then all of a sudden the teams that we thought we were rooting for to lose, like Leeds, who are in the bottom three now, all of a sudden now we want them to beat these other teams because then after that, Leeds are going to play a team like Bournemouth, or Forest are going to play a team like Leicester. You just never know. So it's going to be interesting. Emotions will run high every week. These games mean so much to these players. Can't stress enough how, given the circumstances today, a point means everything. And I was the opposite before the match because I said I'd be disappointed with a draw for the most part. I did say if it was 1-0 to Spurs going on 80 minutes, of course we'd take a draw. But given how things were going and the effort that we'd showed lately, and given how our home form has been compared to our away form, I thought a win today was vital. But that point feels like 3 given the way it happened. Did I fail a detect sarcasm check? I'm not sure which comment you're referring to, but hopefully not. Sarcasm is my first language after all. Bournemouth won't beat Brighton. West Ham won't beat Newcastle. I suggest that you watch a couple of the recent games for both of these teams because I'm not convinced of that at all. I'm not taking bets, but I wouldn't. Bournemouth have just all Bournemouth have done is proven that they're a team to be reckoned with, especially at home recently. And West Ham have nicked a couple of points at home as well. I don't have all of their fixtures. I'll take a look though at West Ham real quick, just because I know it was Southampton and it was an ugly game, but they still got the 1-0 win there. Here's a game against Villa. It's a 1-1 draw. Villa had been for the most part on fire lately. West Ham batter Forest 4-0 at home. Draw with Chelsea at home 1-1. Just drew at St. James's Park 1-1 over here. Beat Everton 2-0. All I'm saying is West Ham at home, while not the prettiest of football, is still a different team. And what's that? What did I just say? 5 games on the bounce, 6 games, 6 home games, whatever it is, without a loss. So whether they'll beat Newcastle or not, I don't know that, but they're going to be up for the challenge, I think. West Ham still are a poor football team. It's not fun football to watch by any means, but I'm not counting them out. Let me take a look at Bournemouth as well, because it's not even I've seen a couple of these matches, and it's not just the scoreline with Bournemouth, it's how they're playing. And people want to point to the game that they blew against Arsenal. I thought that was a massive choke job. I do think that, to be fair, Arsenal are top of the league for a reason. But still, you have a 2-0 lead at the Emirates. You should be winning that game. But they go down to Fulham 1-0. They come back and win that game. Ugly performance at Villa Park. I'll give them that. They beat Liverpool 1-0. This was the Arsenal game. And again, we can go back a little bit further. Yes, the Man City game was ugly. They draw against Newcastle at home. Wolves, they get a win at the Molineux on the road. It's just, I'm not counting Bournemouth out at any point at this point because they just have that grit and determination. So, yes, Brighton are a very good side. I see that game being a draw, but we shall see. My dog has finally come back into the room. That took about 20 to 25 minutes for him to get off of the I don't know if he was on the Everton high or still scared because I screamed so loud, but how does Bournemouth accidentally win so often? It's not an accident, mate. They're playing, they're in a relegation scrap and they're just proving that they're up for it. That's all. They really, I mean, it's from a neutral perspective. Like if Everton weren't in this position and I wasn't necessarily rooting for Bournemouth to lose in some instances, I'd be looking at Bournemouth thinking, come on, fight on, because it is a scrappy team that are really showing their heart. Excuse me. Everton are still third favorite to go down after Sunderland and Leeds. I'm going to assume that you meant Southampton there, because if Sunderland get relegated from the Premier League today, or this season, then I'd be interested. Oh, there it is, Southampton and Leeds. All right, you corrected yourself. I'll give you that. Yeah, I don't buy that, especially given I'm assuming that these betting favorites are just going by numbers and strength of schedule, because Everton certainly haven't looked like a team that's going to go down compared to some of these other performances. Like at this point, if you're not if from a betting perspective, Leicester aren't in that conversation to go down, I don't know what these people are watching, because Leicester's recent performances have been abysmal. I actually owe an apology to Crystal Palace, because what I said the other day was Leicester's performance was absolutely shocking, and that Crystal Palace was the only team on the pitch that deserved to win that game. I think I understated that, because I didn't realize Crystal Palace had 31 shots in that game. No, they weren't all on target, but still. Excuse me. To say that Leicester opened up on defense would be an understatement there. Shocking performance from Leicester. Curious if the new manager can get anything out of the squad. Yes, I know they have players that have scored goals before. Yes, I know they still have 39 goals on the year. And in this table, that's the most all the way up to 10th. It doesn't matter if they can't put it together at the right time, and it doesn't matter if their defense has more holes than Swiss cheese. It doesn't matter at all, especially when you're playing teams in this relegation scrap that arguably want it more than you. Yes, it'll be interesting to see how they respond, but until Leicester start putting wins together, I don't believe in them at all. All right, Peter, thanks for stopping by, buddy. We hope to see you next time. Do we dare ask about DCL? No, I'll let someone else during the week be negative on that, because we will have content during the week, and a couple of my follow Everton colleagues aren't exactly big fans. So we can talk about it if you like, though. I don't want to make jokes. I want to just say I hope he gets fit, and I hope he gets fit soon. But I also want to say that if he doesn't, and at this point I'm expecting him not to, I don't care anymore, because I'm supporting the guys that we have, and I think Deitch is to that point as well. DCL hasn't been in full training yet, Chris. He's still weeks away at least. Again, I don't even. We'll see. That's all I can say. I'm tired of saying the same thing every week, in the sense that, and I'm not. I agree with you, the Blues. I'm not knocking your comment. What I'm saying is, I'm tired of saying the same thing every week, in the sense that I don't know how close he actually is. All indications were before the international break that he's very close. And so what you're thinking is that the 2-week international break is going to be, he'll be fine, like more than fine. He'll be ready to start, right? Because if he's that close to being fit enough to be on the bench, you have to. So at this point, I've just given up, in the sense that if he's there, he's there. If he's not, he's not. We have the players that have proven that they can bring the fight and bring the attack to the other team, no matter who we're playing. And I'm fine with riding with the guys that we have. And even if I wasn't fine with it, at this point, we have no choice. So it is what it is. How about Sims up front and Gray in the Decoy role? Just an idea. Touched on that a little bit earlier. I don't hate Sims up front. Don't get me wrong. We've been calling for, on this channel, for Sims and Gray up front for a while, in the sense of a 4-4-2. And, we're about to that point of the show where we can talk about formation. So let's do that, actually. I can put some player ratings down here as well. Let's get to that first, actually, before I look at how this team might look, because I don't want to get too much into that. Well, I do want to get too much into it. You know what? Cancel what I just said. Okay, let's get the player ratings down here real quick, because that's going to be an interesting talking point. Also, we didn't see Nathan Patterson on the bench today. I said it before the match, but that surprised me a little bit, given that he was fully fit against Scotland. He got plenty of minutes. I thought we'd at least see him in a supporting role, just in case he needed to come on. Was a little bit surprised not to see that, but it is what it is. I thought the guys on the bench were fine and going to be ready for it. And honestly, I don't know if anybody else was as worried as I was when Tarkowski hit the deck early in the game. I don't think it can be stated enough how vital to our team James Tarkowski is, whether it's from a defensive standpoint or, as I said, winning every single header from the midfield on. Just a fantastic player and the linchpin. People speak of Ghana as the linchpin to our team. I think Tarkowski is the linchpin to our if not our team, then at least our defense. Okay, I'm going to do this on the fly, because I've just written everybody down just so I don't forget anybody on our team. I'm trying to. I hope I have all the subs. I think the subs were Sims, Mikalenko, Davis, and Garner. If I'm wrong on that, please someone correct me. Okay, I thought Pickford was outstanding. Obviously, gives up a goal in the penalty, but it's Harry Kane. Whether you like him or not, he buries almost every penalty. Yeah, we didn't forget England. Don't worry. I'm going to give Pickford. Could get a 9. I'll give him an 8.5, just because I haven't. Again, we're doing this on the fly. Thought Godfrey was fine on the left. Nothing out of control. No bad. He had a couple of bad fouls in the first half, and I actually thought he was the next one away from getting booked. So I was a little bit worried about that. But I didn't think he was back bad. I reckon goal difference will be a big factor. I think it'll be a big factor for some teams. I don't think it'll be a big factor for us. You have Forest on -27. You have Bournemouth on -28. You have Southampton on -24. Yes, our goal differential is not great. Even Wolves are on -19 and we're on -18. I'm curious to see what happens. There aren't going to be games where these teams, I don't think we're going to see any sort of game where Wolves, Everton, or really a lot of these teams in the bottom win a game 4-0, 4-1. Leicester have that capability. I think even Leeds have the capability to win that sort of game, especially given the way that Leeds played against Wolves. Was it last week? It seems like this was ages ago, but I think it was just last week with the Leeds and Wolves match was 3-2. Leeds took a 3-0 lead and their defense kind of crumbled. But the point being, they at least proved that they have the ability to score goals in bunches. So West Ham, they don't get to play Forest again, but that 4-0 win is huge at home. I don't think a goal difference is going to come as much into play for us. Now, having said all that, I still hope we score plenty of goals. I don't know. Yeah, let's hope it doesn't come down to our last game of the season versus Bournemouth. I don't think it will, but that is the fear. A lot of people saying Kane dived. Yeah, I'm not even going to argue with that. It's weak. He went down he absolutely went down like he got shot. It's a joke. It really is. But having said all that, Decore, just I don't know what you're thinking. I absolutely don't know what you're thinking there. Godfrey's going to get a 7. Tark is going to get a 9. Tarkovsky absolutely gets a 9 today. And you could argue it even could be more than that. I've been usually an 8 is given for a very good performance, but Tark was over the top great today, in my opinion. Keane, you could arguably give him a 9 just because he gave up the penalty. I'm not even going to take a full point off. I'm going to take just a half point off and give him an 8.5. Saves a goal in the first half, thunderbolt of a strike in the second half to earn us a point. So you could even upgrade that to a 9. Man of the match goes to Tarkovsky for me. That's why his 9 remains. Seamus was fine on the right. I'll give him a 7.5 there. McNeil is fine on the left. McNeil didn't set the world on fire today, but it wasn't any glaring mistake. A couple of turnovers in the midfield, but nothing out of control. I'll give him a 7. Thought Onana was great. I'll upgrade him to a 7.5 just because you get a couple of shots on net. Again, they weren't the greatest of strikes by any means, but they at least got Lloris, kind of hesitating a little bit. Decore is going to get he'll get a 5.5. Could have been a 6. I'm going to take a little bit extra off. As a matter of fact, I'll even go down to a 5. Decore gets a 5 out of 10. Yes, I understand he was having a good match before he got sent off, but the fact that he got the fashion in which he got sent off in one of the more idiotic moves I've seen in recent memory is just enough for me to deduct multiple points at that point, because not only is it just stupid on your part, now you're suspended for 3 games. Had Lucas Moura not gotten sent off later in an equally as stupid play, you very likely could have cost your team a full 1 or 3 points and put us in a bad position, both not having you for 3 games and in the table, we'd still be in the bottom 3. It's a 5 for me, and that still might be being generous. Ghana had a few too many turnovers in possession for me. Squandered a chance on 47 minutes. I'm going to give Ghana a 6.5. It will be a 6. Nothing special there. It was an okay performance. Damari Gray, I'll give him either a 6 or a 7. You could argue Gray was getting his jersey tugged a lot in the first half. Still brought the fight. A little bit careless in possession in some cases. I'll throw a 6 out for him, and that might be a little bit harsh on Damari Gray, but he'll get a 6 regardless. Usually, I don't always rate sub. Usually, I don't always. That makes a lot of sense. I don't always give subs a rating just because I'm on the fly and we're doing this improvisational style. I'll throw this out there. Not much from Ellis, Sims, Mecca. That's the thing. I don't think they were on the pitch enough for, especially Davis and Garner, to actually contribute. Garner took a set piece, which I don't know what that was supposed to be, but it was absolutely dreadful. Davis didn't do anything horrible today. A couple of decent passes actually looked somewhat up for it, but it's limited minutes. So we'll leave those alone, actually. I was a little bit worried about Mikalenko, because especially after he slipped right away, you wonder if he put the wrong studs on or something like that. I think it's great every time I see Ellis Sims on the pitch, because the more minutes, the better. And I think that he's going to be crucial for us going forward, especially if we don't have Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So let's talk about next week and what this formation might look like. We go to Old Trafford. United haven't had the best recent form, especially given this most recent match going to St. James Park against Newcastle. But this game is at Old Trafford. We have been there already this season in the FA Cup. It was not the worst of performances by Everton. Let's just take a look at United's schedule coming up. Not the worst performances by Everton. I'd have to go back and watch the highlights, but from what I remember, we equalize 1-1. United take the lead. We have an equalizing goal. I can't remember if it was Calvert-Lewin or Damari Gray. One of them equalizes, and it gets called back off for offside by VAR. And it was a game that we were still in, but we just couldn't find the equalizer. But the point being, we can at least contend with Man United. The home game against United earlier this season was, I believe, an Alex Iwobi early goal, great strike from Iwobi. I don't remember who equalized for United, but I'm pretty sure it was Cristiano Ronaldo who took the 2-1 lead, and that final score ended up being 2-1. To my knowledge, that might have actually been Ronaldo's only Prem goal this season before he left the team. Not sure about that one, though. I could be very wrong. But regardless, I'm pretty sure if it was his first of the season, United win 2-1 at Goodison, if I remember correctly. United do play Wednesday, though. They are home to Brentford, so that might help us a little bit in terms of having them, have tired legs. Of course, they have the players on the bench to manage this. United aren't short. They are. I don't know if Casemiro is still suspended or not. I think it was a 4-match ban. I'd have to look. I want to say he is suspended, but I don't remember. Let's see. What did he get? He got that match against Southampton. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you count the Europa League game. So no, he won't be suspended for this match against Everton, to my knowledge. But we'll look into that. The game against Brentford will be interesting. Brentford are a top side. Hopefully they bring the attack. Hopefully Tony puts a boot in somebody. I mean, at this point, if Tony's not suspended by now, he won't ever be suspended no matter what he does. But it is what he is. So, sorry, by the way, I'm missing the some of these comments. I kind of got on a rant there when I was doing these player ratings. Goal line clearance, drew the foul that got Morrison off and scored an absolute beauty to get us level. Yeah, Keane def made up for that penalty. Jet, you might be right about that. I'm not denying anything that you're saying there. Keane was fantastic today. I just hate that one error might be kind of it won't take the headlines after the strike he made, but the one error was still a bad error. You can't deny that it was still it was a pen. So maybe it's a bit harsh on him but I think I've made pretty clear that Keane had a great game today, and if not, then I'll make it clear now. And I want it on video record that I called the Keane goal before the match. Betting tips coming next week. I would have. I'm hoping that had I made a wager, I would have bet anytime goal score rather than 1-0 and score first and all that stuff. But it is what it is. Deitch doing a fab job. Blue Nose, you're spot on with that one. Didn't Rashford also score Ronaldo second? I don't remember who scored the first. I'd have to go back and look. You might be right. I just don't remember. Blue says it was Anthony that scored the first. Ronaldo broke a phone. Yes, that was captured on video. Yeah, Anthony, it looks like that's who scored the first goal. So anyway, these are United's upcoming fixtures. I don't really care who they play afterwards. United are obviously not near us, although I guess some of it matters. They do go to the City ground. Whatever the case, it's going to be an interesting one. We have to bring the fight to Old Trafford. We've proven that we can contend with these top teams no matter where we go. We've, well, maybe not to the Emirates, but that's another story. But as of recent, no matter where we go, Forest, we're on great form at home. We go in there, we take it to them. Arguably should have come out with a win. That ended up being a 2-2 draw. We go to Stamford Bridge, sort of an ugly first half, but we concede twice. We concede the lead twice. And we come back and equalize both times. Point being, that gives a little bit of optimism that even if things don't start off great at Old Trafford next week, we can somehow find a way. Hopefully that doesn't happen and we just come out and take the lead, but I'll believe that when I see it. United have had our number for the most part at Old Trafford as of recent. I'm trying to think of when that goal went in from Oviedo. I want to say that is the most recent Blues win at Old Trafford. Yes, we had a couple dramatic late draws. The 3-3 one comes to mind when Calvert-Lewin scored at the death off a free kick from Luca Digne. That was a great James Rodriguez goal in that game as well. But that was the COVID year. That was without fans, which I don't. That was just a weird season. We had so many away wins, but couldn't win at home. But again, the crowd obviously makes a big difference. So, and then after that, I want to say we drew 1-1 at Old Trafford last season. That was one. I'm not. Was that the game that got Solskjaer sacked? I don't know, but either way, was that a late goal? Hang on, I actually want to look that one up as well because I want to say that was another late goal from Everton at Old Trafford last season. But let's see, Man United 2022. Regardless, next week's going to be a tough one. It'll be curious to see how United come out, given the fact that they do have a midweek game, and given the fact that they are United still in Europe. I believe they are, but I have to take a look. They might. I'm not. I'm a little bit behind on my paying attention to everything. Yes, they are. United still in Europe. Quarterfinals coming this next week, actually. So they have to be thinking about that. United have a fixture congestion, given the fact that they're still in Europe. And so what the only thing that really says is that how are they going to manage their minutes? West Ham are going to have the same problem. Brighton are going to have the same problem, given that they're still in the FA Cup. So, and Man United are still in the FA Cup as well. They're in the last four. A lot of fixtures coming up. That can go a long way. Yes, I know United still have higher quality. Yes, I know United are still top four. They're a very good side. But the fact with all these fixtures coming up, how they manage their minutes is going to be a big thing. So, will we get a full United squad next week in the Prem? Don't know. Probably, given the fact that United know they have to still maintain these points numbers. They are in the top four, but Newcastle just leapfrogged them. Obviously, Spurs are still chasing them. Um, I'm just hoping for the best. I'm trying to stay optimistic about United next week. I don't feel great about going to Old Trafford. It's one of those where I'm trying to talk myself into being optimistic and having some hope, but we'll see. Trying to find the Everton United score from last season. Let's see. It was 1-1. I had that one right. Martial 43. And then Andres Townsend, that's right. Okay, Townsend has that goal and then does the Sue Ronaldo celebration and then waits outside the dressing room to get Ronaldo's shirt. Come on, Townsend. What are you doing? You're not a kid. But whatever the case, that was a weird Everton game, kind of typical. I want to say after that ball went in, we hadn't had many chances to that point, and then Townsend gets that goal, and we looked a little bit more up for it than United did. I'd have to go back and watch that, but whatever the case, that's last season. It's a different team this season. I understand that. Just trying to look at recent visits to Old Trafford. But what we will do is we will have a pre-match show this week during the week, and then we'll have one before the game as well. But I'm sure we'll be looking much more into recent fixtures against United this week. So I'll save that for a little bit more of the build-up show and the pre-match show, which will likely come on Wednesday or Thursday. I wonder who filmed it. Ronaldo smashing the phone. Yeah, I told that story before in the pre-match, but if you missed that, my partner at the time. So I dated someone from Liverpool for a couple of years. She has a season ticket. Her whole family, they've had season tickets for generations. Basically, what happened was she had the season ticket seat, and I was sat in the middle of the park end with one of our mates. The players are going through the tunnel because this was back when the away players still came right towards the right end of the park end back into the dressing room. Players are going through the away tunnel, and all of a sudden, a kid has his phone out. Not sure if he's trying to take a picture or film Ronaldo, whatever it is. And you see Ronaldo smash his phone. Now, the video that everyone saw of this happening on Sky Sports, BT, BBC, ESPN, whatever, all of that was filmed by her. Now, she didn't want to be publicly named and all that kind of stuff, and that's understandable. You don't want the notoriety or just to have it out on Twitter. And I said, well, I don't care. And I wasn't intending to slander Ronaldo by any means, but United come out with this ridiculous statement that, well, it's not clear what happened after the game, or we don't know what happened after the game with Ronaldo. Therefore, we can't, we won't comment on it or we won't punish him, whatever the case was. The statement was a joke. And so it was never intended to drag Ronaldo through the mud by any means. But what I was saying was, oh, really? You don't know what happened? This is what happened. Because all United were trying to do was cover it up because it was ridiculous. Say what you want about it. I mean, it's a kid. And I think afterwards, the kid's mom kind of made a meal of it because it wasn't like the kid was severely injured or anything like that. But the fact was Ronaldo was still way out of line. And I was like, okay, you're not going to get away with this. This is ridiculous. In case anyone believes the statement, here's what's really happened. And don't tell me you don't know what happened because it's right in front of you. All of a sudden, my phone starts blowing up. And this is the same day as the Grand National. And so we're just watching that. And all of a sudden, I had to turn my phone off because all of the notifications, hundreds of notifications per second. It really was a wild day. But so yeah, the video you saw that actually came from my Twitter handle, which it wasn't Real Domino Chris at the time. I had a different one, which I recently changed. But it was just funny seeing my Twitter handle for the next couple of days all over every single major network in the UK, and on every excuse me, every website as well. People get better treatment than us. It's so true. I maintain that had this gone the other way, and Harry Kane hits Decore in the face, and Decore goes down, then it's not a red card. I don't care what anybody says. I don't think it would have happened. Townsend tore his ACL last season. I believe it was his ACL, but either way, his knee has been done for a while. Supposedly, he was getting back to light training. I don't expect to see him for the rest of the season, and I don't even think there's been much of an update. If Sean Dyche is asked about Townsend, I'm pretty sure it's very much it's just a wait and see. Like I don't think Townsend's very close. And given where we are at this juncture of the season, I don't expect to see Townsend at all, but we'll see. Simon coming in late. Takes a lot to make me scream, but I screamed. What a strike. Michael Keane. Get in there. What for? I'm assuming it was the Keane strike. If it wasn't, then maybe that's something we need to wait until well, no, we're past the watershed. I guess we can have our premium content on here now, but I'll let you I'll let your imagination go to work there. Good afternoon, Amy. Thanks for joining us. Magnificent goal and subbing by them. We're just about a little bit close to an hour after the game, so I'm expecting some folks to be, having a post match drink at the pub and then on their way back home. I'll stay on for a little bit. I don't have. I've said basically most of what I need to say about how the game went. Had some player ratings. I'll go over those again, just in order. Pickford with an 8.5. God out of 10, obviously. Godfrey with a 7. Tarkovsky with a 9, man of the match for me. Keane with an 8.5. Could have been a 9. He could easily be man of the match, even though he conceded the penalty, but I'm giving it to Tarkovsky. Seamus Coleman, 7.5. Dwight McNeil gets a 7. Amadou Onana with a 7.5. Abdoulaye Doucouré with the 5. You could go either way. There's so much to say about Doucouré because, again, he was having a decent match. I'm going to give him a 5. Idrissa Gana Gueye, 6.5. Didn't do much for me. Maybe some people feel differently. It wasn't a horrible game, but it certainly wasn't anything special, and he squandered a couple chances. So Wilby with a 6, nothing special. Damari Gray with a 6, nothing special. Both of them with their share of turnovers as well. So I thought it was a pretty even first half. Couple of decent chances both ways. Spurs had one cleared off the line by Michael Keane, and then another great save from Pickford in the mix. Really, two great right-footed saves. I think Son was behind the defense at some point there, and there was one other. Dwight McNeil, I forgot about that save. If you remember, kind of midway through the first half, Dwight McNeil on a cross gets a leg out right at the last second. Otherwise, that's a tap in. I don't know if that was Kulishevsky. I don't think so. I think it was somebody else, but whatever the case, McNeil saves a goal in the first half as well. So at that point, you're starting to get a little bit nervous. And I said at halftime, this game has all the makings of a defensive blunder. I just hope it's not us. Turns out that wasn't really the case, but unless you call what Doucouré did a blunder or giving away the penalty a blunder. I thought it was going to be more of a kind of a miss-hit on defense, and then it leads to a breakaway and a nonsensical goal. At halftime, I'm thinking it has shades of last season's home games with Wolves and West Ham, whether it's not much of a game either way, sort of even, but nothing really stands out. And then all of a sudden some nonsense goal goes in, and that's all you remember is, well, we just let that one slip away. And then obviously when we get the red card, all I'm thinking about is it's Brentford. I had prepared at that point the Brentford home game last season where Branthwaite gets sent off early and Richarlison wins a pen and still 2-1 Everton. And then Brentford just come out and score 2 in 2 minutes. And keep in mind, that was right before the Palace game where everything good happened for us, but well, not everything good, but you get where I'm going with that. And so I had fully prepared to come on this post-match show and say, well, it's not the end of the world that we just lost that game. Not that I wasn't trying to give up per se, but it just seemed like after that, we have 10 men. We're going down 1-0. It just is what it is. We accept the defeat from a fan perspective. But man, did I give Deitch a rating? No, I didn't. But I guess I can. I think the subs were fine. I don't think there was anything wrong with what Deitch did with the formation and lineup before the game. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I have no problem with that. Selections were fine. I'm hoping there's nothing wrong with Nathan Patterson. Was a little bit surprised to not see him on the bench. I'll give Deitch an 8. He made the subs when he needed to make the subs and realized that we need to come at this from attacking perspective. The subs were the same. I'd have to see who came off against Chelsea. I know the name of the subs in terms of Sims and Mikalenko. The first batch of subs were the same against Chelsea, but I don't remember who came off. We didn't see Davis or Garner against Chelsea, so I'd have to go back and take a look. But I'll give Deitch an 8. I think he did a great job with today's game, and he tried his best to be, as soon as Doucouré did, to kind of wave it off and be like, no, it's nothing. So that is what it is. Someone said Deitch should have broken that up earlier. I don't think he had time to do that. That happened so quickly. I can't show it on stream, I don't think, but I'd have to go back and look. But the Kane Doucouré debacle happened just lightning quick, and before you know it, Kane's already on the deck. Yeah, a little bit of talk about Frank Lampard dropping Doucouré. I don't. I could speculate on what happened. From what I heard happened, Doucouré had to go at Lampard after Southampton. Don't know if that's true. Sonwin was offside. You're dead right about that. I did forget. But having said that, it looked close, and I don't ever trust VAR to be in our favor, if that makes sense. So I'll still consider that a great save because, well, I don't need to tell you why I'm a conspiracy theorist with VAR. I think you know. Thanks for joining us, Chris, buddy. I hope to see you soon. Thank you very, very much. Very kind of you. Don't care who the opposition is. We can't afford to drop points at home. You're spot on with that one. Home form is gonna home form might dictate if we stay up. I don't put all of my stock in that, given that our away form has been better, not great, but just a little bit better. We look like we're up for it, at least on the road now. And I do think we're going to nick a win somewhere. I don't know if it's going to be Leicester. I don't know if it's going to be Wolves, but I do think we find an away win before the end of the season. Let me pull up our fixture list real quick just to have it all in front of me, and I will give you a look at what we're looking at here. So next we go to Old Trafford. We're home to Fulham. At this juncture, with Fulham looking the way they do and still missing Mitrovic in that game, there's no excuse to not get 3 points there. I know Fulham have overachieved a bit, in my opinion, this season, but still, that's a team that you should beat with a good Goodison performance, in my opinion. Haven't had much luck at Selhurst Park recently. Palace have been okay. Oh, we've got a guest. Look who's made it. Oh yeah!
Wow, unbelievable.
I've given my roller coaster of emotions, so I'm gonna give you the complete floor here just for a bit, and you tell me everything that you experienced throughout that game.
Got 2 minutes. I just met Sean Dyche personally. Signed the autograph for me on the book, and for Mabsy and David. So we got Sean Dyche's autograph, and Mabsy was telling him about how his girlfriend is a Blackburn fan, but we hate them, and he laughed. But I thought, that's the first time you met Sean Dyche. You're talking about Blackburn. But it's a great, yeah. It's there. Sorry. Wait. Fantastic moment. Congratulated him. Said he's brilliant. Keep going. He has really motivated the players, as far as I'm concerned. And also met Michael Keane, and I said to Michael, I said I was in shock. I was so surprised. I couldn't believe it. And he said to me, I couldn't believe it myself. So was I. Started laughing. I said, I've never seen you score a 30-yarder before. I said, I've been clamoring for you to play up front for a while because of your finishing. And he was laughing, and he signed it. There he is.
Very good.
On the front cover. Someone should have said Michael Keane. I did actually say Michael Keane, but it'd be from a set piece. So, no, I didn't do the impression. Yes, I did want to ask.
Wait a minute. No, you didn't say Michael Keane. I said Michael Keane. Your exact quote was, I'm not going to go that far. So don't lie to your people.
No. Anyway, I've got to drive everyone home. So I will probably get Mabsy on for, he was very pissed. I made a complete show. But I'll get Mabsy on and Basil in the back of this car, and I'll do a separate match reaction at some point, probably tomorrow. So absolutely brilliant point. I thought we deserved more, personally, on another day. I don't know what everyone thinks, but Spurs were rubbish. Honest to God, they were so bad. And even with 10 men, we were the better team. But I'll get to that, and I'll let you get on with it. Thank you.
Sounds good. Cheers, mate. Safe travels. We'll talk to you soon. Up the Toffees.
You'll be there next time, Chris.
Sure hope so, mate. That was good stuff. Cheers. Good stuff from Ryan there. Don't want to have your phone in the car. That's very responsible. Good stuff. Yeah, I had a couple things I wanted to ask him, but we'll get to that. He said we'll do a separate reaction tomorrow. I'll definitely jump in on that, whether I'm on camera or just in the comments. But I have a few questions for Ryan. The receipts are there. My guy, of course they are. We both nailed it. I just went, man, can you imagine if it was 1-0 on that Keane strike? What a strike it would have been. Nonetheless, we nailed it on the anytime goal scorer. I wanted to get to this, by the way, Kev. I was just about to ask him if maybe maybe that's what happened. Decore touched. He just kind of gave Lampard a little one of these, and maybe Lampard went down and just said you're sent off until further notice. Kate says red from Mora. That was a nasty challenge. Yeah, it really was. That was you talk about losing your head. I mean, we talk about Decore. We haven't even really touched much on Mora. That was an atrocious challenge. And by the way, if I remember correctly, is that the first time a player has been sent off against Everton since West Brom in 2021? Does anybody have that in the comments real quick? Because I want to say that with I forget the player's name, but Slaven Bilic also got sent off at halftime for that for arguing with the officials, with the referees. But I forget which player got sent off. But I want to say that's the last red sent off, or last player sent off against Everton in any fixture. Well, no, either way, it's been a long time. Yeah, it wouldn't. Here's the thing. I've become such a pessimist conspiracy theorist that it wouldn't have shocked me if that wouldn't have been given as red. And there was the slightest bit of hesitation. The ref blows the whistle. He doesn't immediately reach for the red. Then he does. So I don't know if he got something in his ear. Not sure. Gibbs for dangerous play. Yeah, I think that's right. Ryan's just put the stream link. I think he's gonna you know what? I was gonna get off. I want to wait because I think as Technology fail here. The mic is falling out, ladies and gentlemen. We can hold it for a second, though. Bear with me on the technology stuff. I'm going to stay on for a bit because I think as our friends here at Follow Everton get home, Ryan's driving everybody home at the moment. As they get home, we're going to have some people want to jump on, whether it's Mabsy or Amy or whoever it is. If Mabsy's too drunk, I say I'm going to kick him off, but I'll probably keep him on because that's the premier content that we're all waiting for, isn't it? And apparently Mabs had a lot to say to the referees at halftime. So that should be great content for everybody. So we'll stay on for a bit. You guys are brilliant in the comments, by the way. Please keep them coming. And I might actually just have to hold this mic, but that's okay. I can feel like a quiz show host, right? We can just hold it right here. Let me know if the audio is any good or any bad, and we'll just go from there. I might have to fix this after the match. What a great day. What a great day for Everton. Obviously, the point's not what we wanted. Ryan said we arguably deserve more. I don't disagree with that for a second. But given the circumstances of the game, I'm more than okay with. There he is. Get in there, Mabsy. Hang on a second. Let me pull Mabs up. Not sure if I think he's on the road. So let me see if his Wi-Fi is working. Mabsy, can you hear me, mate?
Yeah, I can. Right. I can hear you on. What a game, right? I fucking love Everton. Honestly, right, yeah. When we pull it out the bag, we pull it out the fucking bag.
Go on, then.
Go on what?
Keep going. Give me the roller coaster of emotions that we experienced.
Roller coaster emotions, right? Our time, right? Fucking, let's be honest, what a fucking travesty that goes on, right? I give Coop absolutely fucking rockets, right? I apologise for my swearing, by the way, but I gave him abuse, right? And he's that close. The fourth official after our time is looking back at me.
I told him to take his Spurs
4 times, right? Yeah, David told him to take his Spurs hat off, right? Yeah. Right. Then the penalty that never fucking was, which was a penalty. Not my fucking. Where's Chris? Where's the VAR on that one?
I think it's a pen, mate. If you see it back, I think you might agree.
We need to see it again.
I don't know. It's too far over, but where's VAR?
Well, I don't disagree. What I will say is, yes, I wish it was a little bit more consistent. But for me, now we've seen it not called in our favor. I totally agree with that. I wish it was more consistent. But for me, that's still a penalty. That's my opinion, though.
Yeah, we see it differently.
That's fine. You know, that's what this is all about.
The core gets sent off for me. It was right in front of us. Quite literally, he went like that, right? Get sent off. Agree, send off. The penalty, I don't know. In where we were sat, I don't think it was a penalty. But if you're saying, Chris, it was.
I want you. That's all I'm saying. We'll have another show tomorrow. I want you to look at it just from what I saw on the broadcast, and then just come back and tell me. That's all. From what I saw.
Yeah, Chris, no arguments, right? From where we saw it, there wasn't a penalty.
Yeah.
Then you know what? The whole stadium, drunk Mabsy thought it wasn't a pen. Fucking the whole stadium thinks it's not a penalty when the sounds of cheat going on, right? So
we're already riled up.
We're already riled out because of Kane being a twat.
Yeah, no, I was gonna ask you. So we say it's a deserved sending off, right? What do you think of Kane going down like he's gotten shot, and then the players obviously getting in his face?
I think it's right for the core push, guaranteed red card.
You've got no choice.
You can't do it, right? For the penalty, I don't see a penalty for that. Right. I don't know. I don't think it was a penalty. I think all day long it's the core sending off.
I don't. There's no. We get enough influence decisions that go against us. There's no reason to literally put. You have now given the referee a reason to send you off.
You don't right. So Kane fouls, right? Yeah. There's nothing on the core, and then goes like that, right? It's a sending off, like 110% all day, right? There's no doubt. The penalty, don't see it. I don't think it was. I've not seen replays, so I can't 100%. But the sending off is a sending off, right?
Amy says the crowd was pretty quiet in the first half. Yeah, I don't know what game you were watching, Amy, because I thought the crowd was up for it for most, if not all, of the match. Maybe save for about 10 minutes after the red, but other than that, I thought the crowd was into it in the first half, weren't they?
Yeah, they're absolutely into it. But when we score that equaliser, like Michael Keane, what is he doing? What is he doing? Michael Keane, right? Honestly, right? Fuck all game, and then that. What is that?
But wait, all game? Did you not see him save a goal in the first half?
I was smooth. I probably was enjoying like.
Mabsy, I mean, Pickford's beat and Michael Keane clears a ball off the line. Like it should have been 1-0 to Spurs. But I mean, and again, you see the pen. The pen wasn't. I think when you see it, Michael Keane gets his leg. Okay, whether you agree with it, would have been the case. But man, that strike, that's a thunderbolt. We're gonna be talking about that goal for a while, mate.
Yeah, no, totally, absolutely match winner, right? And you know what, right? Seamus Coleman comes up to us after the game, and that sending off was crucial, right? It was a sending off, and Decore cost that game.
Yeah, and also from your angle, I'm trying to think of what side. You're on the other side of the pitch from the.
We're centre line dugout.
No. I'm talking about the Lucas Moura sending off on the challenge on Michael Keane. Did you get a decent look at that? You're on the other side, but I was curious what you saw there.
Yeah, it's a nasty challenge though. It's blatant, but honestly, Tottenham are nasty.
No, they are.
To me,
it's a dirty game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Seamus said to me personally, he said that Everton deserved win, especially with 11 men. Deserved more with 11 men. Michael Keane said that he couldn't believe he'd scored, basically.
So there we go, Chris.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Given the circumstances, yes, of course, before the game we wanted 3. We weren't going to be happy with a draw, but given the circumstances,
a vital point at home again. We're not going down.
No, we're not.
Not a chance. Don't believe it anymore.
I have a lot of archival footage that suggests you might think otherwise.
No, you know what? Chris, honestly, right? I am quite agreed with that, right?
Right.
I'm wrong. I'll admit I'm wrong, right? On that performance, with Sean, honestly, we ain't going down, right? We'll scrape again. It'll be a scraping. We're not going down.
So let me ask you this: given that we're not going to see Decore likely for 3 games, who slots into the midfield? Do we see Gray and Sims up top, or does it remain with just Gray? And do we see another midfielder like Tom Davis or James Garner?
Garner, Jay, not fucking Tom Davis. He's taking the piss like fucking Calvert-Lewin is.
Decore is the one who leads the press. He's the second striker. He's the one in there. So he's a massive loss. I really don't know who can come in, because he's an attacking threat in this team. By the way, Calvert-Lewin snubbed us twice. Didn't want to engage. Probably.
No, why are we putting that live on the air? Come on.
No, but Chris, we've got to be like. He turns out 30 minutes before the game for cameras. Come on, Chris. Right? Let's face it.
He doesn't want to get asked stupid questions, and we wouldn't at that point.
He turns up twice, right? For Sky cameras 30 minutes before the game. What does that tell you?
I think it tells me that he's seen what you've said about him, Mabsy, and he recognized your face and didn't want to.
No, Chris, right here. He turns up twice, right? He makes a point for cameras. He's already in the stadium. He's in the stadium before 30 minutes before the game.
Right.
So don't say to me that he turns up 30 minutes before the game. It's disrespectful, right? Fuck him off. Honestly, he can go, as far as I'm concerned. I don't care anymore.
I don't think there's anything to read into that.
There is though. That is for cameras. That is for media. That is for, I'm fit. No, it's not. He's down tools. He's a cunt.
Oh, Mabsy, come on, man. Well, all right. Focusing on the positives today. It's a 1-1 draw. Vital point, as you said. Man of the match shouts. Who do y'all have?
Man of match.
It's got to be Michael Keane, hasn't it?
It
I mean, I
was the
thought
screamer.
as an individual performance, I thought Alex Iwobi played well. He worked hard.
But it was the screamer from Michael Keane.
But was it his fault for the penalty? The challenge on the penalty.
Who gave away the
Who gave away the penalty, Chris? Because
No, it's Michael Keane gives away the penalty.
I thought so. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
for
He
me,
made up for it.
it's James Tarkovsky. Tarkovsky, I think,
Right.
lost a total of 0 headers today. He was all over the pitch. He even had a shot at the end that took deflection off a Spurs defender. I thought Tarkovsky was man of the match for me. He got the highest rating.
Another 5-10 minutes there at the end. I think we might have just snooked that 2-1 victory.
Oh, I don't disagree. I thought again. I fully agree with we were the most, or we were by far the better team. We deserved 3 points. Spurs have been sloppy at times, but today was a new level. They were sloppy the entire match. I don't care how many men they had.
Well, they just came in, didn't they? They didn't really look like they were fighting for the 3 points. They were just going through the motions. Very hard to break down. And, Everton were good defensively as well, but neither team really had anything in attack. It was just shithousery from Harry Kane, really, that got the sending off, and then the penalty came after that.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised that with all it was a little bit obviously some dirty play and all that, but with all of the jersey tugging in the first half, I'm surprised we didn't see yellow at all, and I thought that might spill over into the second half, but then it just the went off the rails with the sending off, obviously, but.
And the ref got a bit carried away. Then he started brandishing yellows here, there, and everywhere.
Well, I think I guess at that point you're trying to at least sort of keep it under control, and you think if the yellow comes out, it might tame it up a little bit. But I think all it did was kind of at that point the emotions are already too high, and then and I wouldn't. I'm glad that Mora saw red because it's most certainly a red card, but I wasn't expecting it. Just given that's the first. We confirmed in the comments. I'm pretty sure that's the first player that's been sent off since West Brom in 2021.
Wow, that's epic, isn't it?
Yeah. So
he had to even it up, didn't he?
Yeah, but it's a deserved red though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
The only difference between that and the AU tackle last season and a couple others I can name, obviously the Virgil van Dijk one this season. The only difference is this one actually was a red, like the other.
The Corey was a red too. We can't escape. There was no reason for the Corey to go fuck off in Kane's face.
It was a very light tap, but
it wasn't. You don't do that. You can't.
It was a bit of a trailing.
You can't do it.
Tap.
You can't do it.
No, as soon as he touches his face, he's got no choice but to give the red card.
But that's been building up for 4 weeks. Decore's lost his head on 3 occasions now, and you kind of, it was like a ticking time bomb. You're just waiting for something to go off, but I didn't know if it would be like this. But I mean.
At the end of the game, he was coming out, and Seamus Coleman was coming over, talking to us with his family, and Decore's like grinning, beaming, going over to Coleman, like, see you later, and the two of them, and Seamus is like, oh, bye, see you, Dukes. And I'm like, the guy literally lost his head and nearly cost us the game.
Hang on. Okay, so yeah, but he does that, and then they have a conversation about it. They're still teammates at the end of the day. You're still going to support your lads. You're not just going to like be mad at. It's not like your girlfriend or whatever.
You've got to be pissed off that you.
But we've gotten over that. Coleman gave him. I mean, sure you saw it. Coleman gave him an earful right after it happened. They probably talked it out in the locker room. If I had to guess, Decore apologized. You move on. That's how I view it, at least.
Yeah. Maybe.
You've got to keep team spirit, haven't you? You've got to keep it going for the sake of the next games. He knows he's made a bad decision there. He got riled. I mean, I don't blame him. Harry Kane is just a bit of a shithouse when it comes to
you don't push people. You don't push
course
them in
you
the
don't.
face.
You're a professional footballer. You've got to keep your head in the game and not in,
Right.
In
Are you taking over because I'm like laying home? Someone's taking over from me. Chris, we're going to sign out now because I'm laying home. So Ryan or Dave may take over, but you're legends, okay?
All right, my friend. I appreciate everything. Thank you guys. I'm glad you guys had the best time.
Good night, people, and stay safe.
Cheers, Mabs. We'll talk to you later, bud.
See you later, Bob.
And that is somewhat intoxicated Mabsy reporting live from Liverpool, United Kingdom. I'll stay on a bit because I think he said Dave might jump on, Ryan might jump on. Like I said, I hope you guys are having fun. We still have a bunch of viewers in this room. And listen, I know we've been here a while. If you need to jump off or do whatever, it's past 11 overseas. I totally understand, but I appreciate you guys sticking with me. I'll be around for a while because at this point, we're not just talking about this game. Now we're talking about upcoming fixtures and formations and things like that, which I forgot to get to myself because, and I just asked Mabs, but I want to look into this. Okay, let's talk about what the upcoming formations or lineups might be. I don't think the defense is going to change much. If he does put Mikolenko back on the left, maybe, but for the most part, I think it's going to be the same lineups that we've seen on defense. I'll write this out real quick just to have it in front of me, but I see on the defense, you're going to have Godfrey, Tark, Keane, and Coleman. You're at no point going to bench Michael Keane at this point. Even Michael Keane's staunchest haters and staunchest detractors can't say that they're going to do that at this point now. Mabsy, make sure you get the right house well in there, Macca. He was on one today. I don't agree with everything Mabs was saying, by the way. I know we had a few touchy comments in there that if I was a professional announcer, I would apologize for the fruity language. But listen, he's riled up. He's definitely got strong opinions, but some of them are justified, and the frustration has built up to a point in certain topics, and you know which ones I'm talking about, where it's to the point that in some cases might be viewed as ridiculous. I'm not going to condone it one way or the other. Just saying the reality of the situation. It'll be interesting to see the midfield. That's obviously it's obviously what a lot of people are going to be talking about. We're going to play a 4-4-2, or we're going to still try and maintain a 4-5-1. How's the midfield going to look? I think McNeil still stays on the left for obvious reasons. You're not going to drop McNeil. So now the question becomes, do you have Onana with Ganagay, and then do you keep Iwobi in the midfield and make it a 4-4-2? Let's say let's just say the lineup that some folks want to see. Here's Jeff. Get in there, mate. How are you?
Hey, well, mate, you all right?
Yeah, doing well. Are you driving?
Yeah, just on my way home, mate.
Have you been listening, and did you just get Mabs' reaction, or are you just jumping in?
No, I'm just jumping in. I've not heard much, to be honest.
Yeah, no problem. I gave my reactions, and then Mabsy's just called us from the car with Ryan and Dave, and they had some emotional reactions as well. But I'll before I say anything, I'll leave it to you, mate, from start to finish. Give me your emotional reactions and how the experience was. Go ahead.
The experience was amazing. Like just the view from the box. We were literally like just behind the subs bench, like watching like Sean Dyche patrolling up and down right in front of us. Like the experience was brilliant. Like, you know, the food and all that was sound, and it was fantastic, to be honest. You know, really grateful to Steak for giving us the opportunity. It was brilliant. The game itself, I think it was two teams that basically, I don't think either team really wanted to lose. I don't think either team was adventurous enough. We both had little patches where we were okay, but I don't think either team particularly played amazingly well over the course of the whole game. Decore, I mean, you can't defend that for a sending off. It was pretty bad, wasn't it?
Yeah. What are you thinking?
No, it was. I mean, Kane is an absolutely massive bell, and he was winding people up, and you know, Decore should know better than to snap and react.
Kane was an embarrassment. I want to make that very clear. It was an embarrassment. But having said all of that, it is still 100% on Decore. There is no reason, given all the decisions that already go against us, there is no reason to give the referee a clear reason to send you off or to make a decision. It's a horrible lack of judgment.
I reckon he's just hungry because he's fasting because of Ramadan. And he's
I was waiting for those jokes to come out.
Yeah, desperate for a Big Mac, I think. But no, in all seriousness, no. I thought we didn't deserve to lose the game. They weren't better than us in any way, shape, or form.
I've
Didn't
seen a
really
lot of
create
I've seen a lot of sloppy Spurs performances, but this one nearly tops the list because Spurs were as
Yeah.
sloppy as I've ever seen.
I just think it's not just that they were sloppy. It was like they had no real intensity to their play. They didn't look like they really wanted it. They were casual in their approach to the whole thing. At least we were fighting and scrapping. We obviously still, we're a team that lacks quality, and there's no denying that we're a team that lacks quality. But the one thing I will say is that Sean Dyche is the best manager we've had in years. And the difference between us now to before he arrived is absolutely night and day, because we look like a team that has a backbone and scraps and fights and wants it, and that's just something that we haven't seen in quite a long time.
I don't want it to be lost or understated how much of an effort everyone on the pitch gave after Decore got sent off, because you could make a case that we were the better team with 10 men, which is just, I mean, like you said, it's night and day. I mean, I don't know how badly we lose that game under Lampard, but I can tell you this, it does not end 1-1.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree. I just think that, you look at the last few results in particular, particularly the away game at Chelsea. We went behind twice and fought back into the game. Today, things didn't go our way. We conceded a penalty. I haven't seen the penalty, so it looked a bit soft to me, but
yeah, I think when you see it back, you'll agree that it was a penalty. I mean, it's not. Yeah. It's not
a silly one. It was a little clip. It wasn't like a delicious fly-in, but it is what it is. I think we conceded, and we went down to 10 men, and we fought back and got something from the game, and that's testament to what the work Sean Dyche has done with this team. I think before he arrived, we had no chance. I thought we were done, and we were going down. I still think it's going to be a struggle. I still think it's hard. And, we're still in the crap. But at least this team's fighting, and at least this team has got. We've got backbone and heart. And
lost Jeff for a second here. Let's make sure we get him back.
Years, like a team that, I've watched our team fold like a wet rag, so many times,
especially against Brighton. Games like that stick out.
Going back to last year, the games are the Southampton away game last year. As soon as we conceded the goal, it was done, and you knew it was done. And in so many games, it was we conceded. As soon as we conceded a goal, it's done. It's over. We knew it was over. I saw it so many times over the last few years, and this team does not have that. We go behind and we roll our sleeves up and we start scrapping and we fight. We manage to get ourselves back into games, which is something we've not done for a long, long time. And then, obviously, that goal, Michael Keane, what an absolute belter of a goal.
Absolute thunderbolt, sends Goodison into the stratosphere.
He will not score a better goal in his whole career.
I tell you, Jeff, we're gonna. That's one of those you remember where you were. You're gonna be watching that goal for a long time, especially if the results go our way this season. I mean, who knows? There's a lot of football left, but for all we know, we might stay up by 1 point. We have no idea. That point could be massive. We just don't know.
Oh yeah, it could. It literally could be the goal that keeps us in the Premier League. So, and I'm really pleased. Michael Keane gets a lot of stick, and you could argue that he deserves a lot of the stick that he gets. Fair enough. But for a guy who's been through what he's been through, and that goal will mean a lot to him.
Yeah, I tell you what, Jeff. I know that you could argue we deserve more. Of course, before the game, we wanted 3 points. I'm not going to deny that. But if this is one of those days that really just gives you a little bit of optimism, it really makes you feel good about the rest of the season. I know we have a tough schedule, especially with some of these aways, but it gives you absolute optimism in the way, because it's not just the fact that we're going to take the pitch, right? It's the fact that even if we go down, we still have a shot. And like you said, that's what's been hampering us for so long. If we didn't score first, it was just over.
I'll tell you what was really great today, because obviously I've never been this close to it before, but you can, you see it on the telly and you hear it sometimes, but to be right there in front while Dyche was there, he was patrolling the touchline. He was constantly barking orders. The players don't get a minute's peace. He doesn't let them, as soon as they start, if they make a mistake, he's on them. He's shouting at them straight away. And it's like, we've got an actual leader in the dugout for the first time in a long time. We've got someone who, he's on those players. He's shouting, he's cajoling, he's geeing them up. He's constantly talking to them, just barking out orders. And it's
he's actually garnered a little bit of respect, hasn't he?
Yeah. And we look. Like I said, there's no disguising the lack of quality. But we look more like an Everton team now. We fight and we scrap, and it's a bad thing by Decore, but I would rather see players snapping and fighting and getting sent off for reacting to stuff than the passive shite we were watching before, where the players had no fight at all. They just let other teams dominate them. We're not letting other teams dominate us anymore. And I think it's such a key difference that, like I said, it can't be understated that this team has got a backbone now, and it's something we haven't had for a long time. This isn't a team of yard dogs. It's a bit dogs of war. But like I said, compared to the passive nonsense that we've watched the last few years, I'll take some dogs of war, because that's what we need if we're going to survive.
Of course, and I think that's what we haven't talked about much yet, and I haven't even touched on yet, is this might be the first game under Dyche where we actually put two halves together. Because, for the most part, it's been the first half. I can't even remember a second half where I felt good about a lot, but it's mostly been the first half. We were up for it for 90-plus minutes today. And like I said, like we talked about, even when we went down to 10, we were still up for it. So that gives you a little bit of optimism going forward as well, especially given the fact that we're going to be void of these dreaded double game weeks that a lot of teams are going to be experiencing with fixture congestion, with the Cup, with the FA Cup, with Europe, whatever the case. Yeah. We're on one game a week. And so in terms of rest, I think that might be to our benefit with some of these other teams, especially a team like West Ham. We'll see.
Yeah, like I said, I think it might actually come down to the Bournemouth game. It might be that close.
I sure hope not.
No, I know, but I just can't. I mean, we've got a tough schedule. We've got some really tough games. We've obviously got United away next. We've got City to play.
I'll give them to you real quick, only because I have it in front of me. It's
Newcastle at home.
United away. It's home to Fulham, away to Palace, home to Newcastle, away to Leicester, away to Brighton, home to Man City, away to Wolves, and home to Bournemouth. I think a lot of this might be decided in the next 5 weeks, quite honestly, because you go away to United. There's no excuse at all for not beating Fulham at home without Mitrovic. Palace will be an interesting one. I like our chances at home against Newcastle. I get that Newcastle are very good right now, but for some reason I fancy our chances at all home games for that matter. And then away to Leicester is going to be huge. I mean, away to Leicester is going to be the 6-pointer of the season in all likelihood, especially given their recent form.
Yeah, and I think like I said, it's going to be a tough run in, and it's going to be painful and stressful. But like I said, the one thing I will say is that this looks like a team that's ready for a relegation battle. Which last year, like, we survived last year, but I think we were lucky to survive last year because we just did not look like a team with fight last year.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you think about the one that sticks out to me where we did show fight was, if you look back to the Man United game last year, it's the one where Gordon had the deflection goal. For the first 20 to 25 minutes, Man United dominated every part of that game, and they couldn't put one past Pickford. Gordon scores the goal, and then United don't, they have a couple of chances, but for the most part, that looked ours, and that was a massive game. The Chelsea game, you can make a case either way. I thought we did show fight against Chelsea, but you got to remember, Pickford comes up with arguably the save of his life for us to win that game against Chelsea. Two of them, really.
Yeah.
So
that was the thing. That was the thing, though, is we turned up in the big games, but we disappeared in the little games. That's why we struggled last year,
especially against a team like Watford or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the difference now with this team is this isn't a team that's going to go missing in the games, in the little games or the big games. This is a team that scraps, and you could see it. Like I say, there's so many little things that when you're watching it, like I say, you're watching the dugouts, you're watching the manager prowling around, you're hearing it, you're seeing the constant, like, you get over there, what are you doing, why aren't you there? Like, he was literally constantly on them all the time, and you could tell that they were paying attention. You know what I mean? They were trying to do exactly what he was telling them to do, because they knew they were getting a rollicking otherwise. And it's just like, we've got a drill sergeant now, where last year we had someone who was trying to be people's friends. And it's just a whole different ball game because, like, when the drill sergeant shouts at you, you do what he fucking says, or you do your very best attempt to try and do what he says, because otherwise you're just getting an absolute pasted. So I think that is important. That, like I say, he's turned us around in a way that, like, I barely thought was possible last year. Like, barely thought it was possible because, like I say, we were just a team of Jessies, like, weak-willed, like, sort of. The squad was just so weak-willed. It's like I say, we crumbled under the slightest bit of pressure, and he's turned that around in such a short period of time. And now we've got a chance of surviving, and I just don't see us. We'd have had a chance without until Dyche arrived. So
yeah, I don't even want to think about what this team would look like under Lampard. And had they stuck with Lampard all season,
we'd be flat bottom by now.
Absolutely, with no hope, no hope whatsoever.
Yeah. I'm absolutely convinced we'd have been relegated under him, and I still think that if for some reason the mad Argentine had been appointed manager, I think we'd have got relegated under him as well. Bielsa.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to put together because sometimes I'll play devil's advocate with you. I don't know what would have happened under Bielsa. I think it would have at least. I think a different voice would have I think a different voice would have gotten us a few points, right? Because the team still had the quality to not be dead bottom. They just needed somebody to actually get them going a little bit. I thought Bielsa ball would have been okay, but it wouldn't have been what Dyche just brought. You know what I mean? Like, I still think we'd be in this quote unquote, bottom 9 fight, but I don't want to even think about any of that. All I know is I think we finally got a decision right. And I know a lot of people at first were upset or just kind of confused because we've got so many decisions wrong lately. But I remember when Dyche came in, just being like, okay, when Dyche steps off the coach, you hear his boots walking along the ground. Put it that way, And I think that's it. The immediate garner of respect, and respect is earned. Don't get me wrong. No one's just given respect right away. But it's the stuff that Deitch says. It's the stuff that he does. It's his tactical awareness. It's his obvious experience. He brings all that to the table and makes the team want to play for one another. And it cannot be measured. And I couldn't be more happy that we got him in the squad right now. And I really feel optimistic about
I just wish we'd have got him. I wish we'd have got him after the Bournemouth games before the World Cup, because I think if he'd have done that, we would be solidly mid-table and nowhere near any issues by now.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I just at this point, it is what it is now. We move forward. But it's a good day. It's certainly a great day for us in terms of how the game played out. To scrap a point out of that is almost like either a bonus point or it feels like more than one. Put it that way.
Oh, yeah, it definitely felt like something to be celebrated rather than. I mean, it's points dropped if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, but once you go down to 10 men and go a goal down, if you come back and get something from the game out of that, it has to be celebrated. It has to be seen as a positive.
Right. But let's also not get too carried away, because at the end of the day, we're still on 29 games played. The teams around us are not, and we're still on 27 points. We at this point, come the weekend, we still might be in the bottom three. And the point being, it's not that I'm unhappy about today. I'm very happy, but we can't just kind of relax. Like, there's no more relaxing. Every single game from this point out is just as massive as possible.
No, like I said, I mean, people don't like hearing reality when I speak it. Like, I had arguments with people on the channel when I tried to say stuff that, like, was reality is what reality is, and you can wish and hope and dream and say like, oh yeah, but we could do this. But reality is what reality is. We're a poor side, and we're in deep shit, and we've got like half a paddle and that bloody waste of DCL,
we've got some strong DCL opinions today for sure. Mabsy had
I cannot wait for that guy to get fucked out of our club. Like, couldn't be asked talking to the fans. Strolled in like 20 minutes before kickoff when all of the other players arrived, like an hour and a half before kickoff. I just don't see the point of him. He doesn't want to be here.
Yeah, Ryan said the same about the whole strolling in just for the cameras, and I can get over if a player. I mean, I of course I hope players talk to fans and engage and all that, but with him, I can see how he's talked to enough fans that are saying things he doesn't want to hear, that he can't be arsed with that. Not that I agree with it. I can see where he's coming from, but in terms of just the showing up late and leaving her, I don't understand.
No, and the contrast is like, I met Seamus Coleman today. He came to sign up. Like, he came up to. I think he must have come up to speak to some of his family. But like, we shouted him and he come over and signed all our programs for us. And like, he's the he's the model of what a professional footballer should be.
Right.
Dies for the shirt. He'd play on one leg if he could, and doesn't, no excuses, and he's not faffing about with, like, I don't want to get down the man bags route, but it's just like, if you're a man, join the fight. Like, I'd join the fight on one leg to save Everton.
It's been brilliant to watch Seamus this season. I don't know if he would, in terms of pure quality, my player of the season is probably James Tarkowski, but in terms of just absolute fight, I mean, if Seamus Coleman's 34 years old and doing what he's doing this season and saying the things he's saying and everything that goes along with it in terms of the fight for the badge, and it's been absolutely brilliant to watch.
Yeah, he's an absolute credit to the club. And a credit to himself and his family. He's just an all-round great human being, great servant to the club. And yeah, I wish we had I wish every player had that same heart as he's got, because we wouldn't be in this shit that we're in if they all had the same levels that he's got, if you know what I mean. So
yeah, and not to get too far into the future or pessimistic or worrisome, but this is probably the squad we're going to see going into next season as well, unless we can nick a free agent, because it's not like we've got the money to spend in the next window,
it might sound a bit daft. I don't really mind that, to be honest.
I think that this is not a world beat. I don't think the squad. This is not a bottom 3 squad. Okay, it's also
that's what I was thinking. And I think when you look at Garner came on today for a sub appearance. I think he's a player who can add something to the squad. I think Sims, the more he plays, he's got something he'll bring to the squad. It's one of those where, like, there's some of the younger players, you give them a full preseason and get them involved. Build something. They might not be it might not challenge for Europe, but it'll be a good enough, solid Premier League side because it's managed properly, it's coached properly. People know what they're doing, and the message is we're not trying to play ticky-tacky football. We're not trying to beat Man City or Arsenal. We're just trying to survive and improve and do the best that we can because we're Everton, and our owners are a bunch of morons. So we just got to do the best that we can with what we got in it.
Yeah, no, pretty much, and I agree with you in the sense that we're not. I don't think anyone on here is pretending like we're going to be contending for top 4 by any means, but the fact that it's to me undeniable at this point that this side should be bottom 3. It's just not a relegation side in terms of quality. Yes, we hope to be a little bit more on the lucky side with injuries. I think the squad should be fine. You can't forget about, players like Stanley Mills, Isaac Price, players that'll be at least somewhat factoring into the mix next season, not to mention Branthwaite comes back, I assume. I mean, who knows what'll happen with him? Let's just say, for instance, he doesn't come back. I mean, Tom Cannon as well. He's lighting the score sheet on fire. There's reasons to be optimistic, and again, that's a long way away. So we'll at that point, it's just pure speculation. We have to wait and see how that plays out. But I said that before the match. I said if we do see James Garner, which I want to see, it's like James Garner is a new signing because he is. We haven't seen him.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, isn't it? So, but yeah. So overall, I wanted to win. I predicted a loss. I'm happy. I'll take a draw, especially under the circumstances we're in. Yeah, and like I said, people might argue with this, but I'm definitely giving my man of the match to Michael Keane.
Yeah,
and for 2 reasons. He did a goal line clearance at this in the first 15 minutes or something.
Absolutely saved the goal. Yeah, it was on. It was on not 9 minutes.
He defended really well, played with massive heart, and scored one of the goals of the season, and probably the best goal he'll score in his entire career.
He did give away the penalty though.
It's one of those. I don't care. I'm still giving him man of the match.
Yeah, no. I understand. Listen, the argument's certainly there for him, man of the match. I gave it to Tarkowski. I don't know how many headers Tarkowski won, but I'm pretty sure he lost 0. Won every single header, won a lot of the 50-50s. I've rarely been more worried this season as I was when he was down on the ground in the first half, because if he comes off,
me too.
Yeah. And then Tarkowski's got a shot at the end and almost scores. And he had a header early in the second half. Man of the match shouts for both of them. They both played fantastic as center backs. And so either one I think works for me. But especially, I mean, listen, it can't be denied. Keane saves a goal and then scores a worldie. So any shout for Keane, you'll be okay.
I just think that we look better. And if you'd have asked me that last year or even 5 months ago, I'd have been with a lot of people saying we need to get rid of him. He's rubbish.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show that if you just put someone in the right position, give them the right partner, give them clear instructions, and give them some confidence. There's a player in there, and like he's been, since he come back into the side, I think he's been really good. And so that goal was just like topped it off, and it was just like, yeah, fair dues. So that's why I gave it to him, because I just thought that the goal line clearance and then scoring the equalising goal, and on top of that, a pretty solid defensive performance all game. That's what tipped it for me. So, yeah, he would be my man of the match. So,
yeah, no arguments. We love what we saw from Keane and really from pretty much everybody on the pitch. Obviously, the crazy mental blunder from Decore, it had kind of been brewing. He had lost his head a couple of times in the last few weeks, and then this week it all just came to a head.
Sorry for the close-up Sailor clock kind of viewing angle for the viewers, by the way. Hello to everyone who's watching. But yeah,
we've had a good bit of viewers stay with us this week. It's been a great post-match show.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for joining. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Get in there, Jeff.
I don't normally do that. I remembered this time. Woohoo! I'm trying to learn professionalism off you, my friend.
I hope you guys
were excellent.
Oh, thanks very much, Jeff. That's very kind.
No, you've been really good since you joined, and yeah, like I need to up my game and be a bit more professional like you.
Hey,
hey.
Yeah, but that bit, you've got the internet for it now, right? We're on the right track.
Indeed, mate. I have indeed. I've got actual 21st century broadband. Woohoo! Amazing.
How about that? I hope you guys were by the way, I hope you guys were handing out business cards for Follow Everton at the game. If not, you guys are doing it wrong.
I think they were actually, because
were they?
I think yeah, because the head of, I think the boss of Hummel was in the box next to us, and I think that I think Jazz and Ryan were talking to the head of Hummel, so might get some free merch out of it as well, possibly.
Yeah, I heard that before the game they were talking about free kits.
Yeah. So, but no, it was just one of those where, to be fair, I think everyone was friendly before, but like by about our time, everyone was shit-faced and drunk, and we were pissing people off.
Yeah. I heard Mabsy had to get a talking to almost.
Oh, mate, he did. He was,
no.
Well, I think when all the stuff with the sending off was going off, like basically he had to get a good talking to, because I think he was ready to like launch himself over the barrier and climb down and attack the referee and attack fucking hell, striker.
Harry Kane.
Hey, sorry, mate. I'm just going through the satellites.
No,
yeah, he was ready to like lynch Harry Kane and kill the referee. So yeah, the stewards had to tell him to calm down a bit. So, yeah, it was a little bit feisty in there, my friend. It was a little bit feisty.
making the most of it. It's not like we'll get that chance very often. So I well in Mavs, I guess, as long as you kept it sort of peaceful.
It's really cool. Like the whole experience of going there, because it's not something, it's not something I'm likely to do very often. So it was pretty cool to just go.
I'm made up for you guys, because you can tell how much it meant to a lot of people.
Yeah, the view was amazing, because it was literally just like the dugouts were literally right underneath us. So like if you looked out, like Sean Dyche was stood right in front of us, like sort of 10 yards in front of us, and like Sims and all of that were in the box just down below, in the subs dugout, like literally right in front of us. And like the fifth official's there, we were right next to the tunnel as all the players come out, and we got to speak to some of the players as they were walking in, before the game started, as they were just coming into the ground in ones and twos. Got to meet Onana, and Onana and just a guy came up to have a little chat and sign some autographs. So it was just a cool experience. So yeah, it was really good. So yeah, it was nice.
Someone, the Blues has asked, Jeff, did you enjoy the caviar?
Okay, so the menu, I didn't have caviar. I had, I had the crispy duck for the starter, and then I had, it was like a fish, I think it was turbot, and it was but it was like curried. It was really nice actually, and then sticky toffee pudding. So yeah, that's what we had.
The posh life is tough, isn't it?
Oh yeah, but you know what? The one thing, I had all that stuff, and it's like I'm fucking starving now, because the big plates, small portions. You know what these fuckers are like? Posh restaurants. It's like big plates, small portions. It's like literally the first thing I did when I got out there. I'm like, I'm going McDonald's, man. I'm starving.
I love it.
Zero. I've got no class, mate. It's fine.
Stop it. There's class there. It's just a new experience. That's all.
Yeah, I'm not too proud to admit that I'm a councillor state scum.
And on that note, so Jeff, Ryan wants to jump on and do his match reaction. So I'm going to wrap this one up.
Yeah, no, that's fine, mate, because I'm nearly home now. So nice one, everyone. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for running the shop while we were all away, my mate.
Oh, absolutely. I love it, man. This has been a lot of fun.
Catch you all later and up the F and Toffees. Come on, Michael Keane.
Cheers, Jeff. We'll talk to you this week, mate.
Cheers, mate. Catch you later.
All right. What a day it's been. Quite the roller coaster of emotions all day. I think we covered a lot in this post-match show. If you haven't seen this one, or if you just joined us, please go back and watch it because it's been very, very fun. Thanks to everybody in the comments. Get player ratings, match reaction. The goal that we'll talk about for a little bit for a while from Michael Keane, I should say. Absolute worldy. Wanted 3 points. We'll take one given the circumstances. Decore sent off on the 52nd minute. And then Lucas Morris sent off a bit later for Tottenham, or much later, I should say, very near the end. Thank you guys for sticking with us. We're almost 2 hours into this thing. And again, I couldn't do it without you. I appreciate everybody trusting in me to run things while they were at the game today. It's been a lot of fun. And we'll have a lot more content coming this week for all the days that we don't have an actual live video. I will be doing the Daily Digest because, as a matter of fact, we'll probably have a live video most of the days this week, given the fact that we have 4 fixtures on Tuesday, 2 on Wednesday, and then obviously more as the weekend goes along. Listen, it's going to be a fun, I don't know if fun's the word. It's certainly going to be an emotional run-in to the end of the season. We've got a few weeks left now. Probably about 8 weeks, I think. And 9 weeks, whatever the case is. I'm a bit off today, but whatever it is, we've got a lot of games left. All of the bottom 9 are going to be playing each other. Don't get into the visuals too much of the table. Trust in us to score goals, because at the end of the day, we have to score goals. We have to win games. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Tell a mate, tell your friend, tell your dog, tell your family. Help us get to where we want to get to. Follow Everton is the name on Twitter and YouTube. At Real Domino Chris is where you can find me on Twitter and YouTube as well. I appreciate all the support in the comments, you guys. Don't know how much that means to me. Like I said, I certainly couldn't do it without you guys. So we'll be picking this up. Ryan's doing a match reaction in just a bit, so stay on. Follow Everton if you want to hear that. Ryan's probably got a lot of stories to tell from being at the game, meeting the players who we spoke to beforehand, match reactions just in and of itself, and what Everton might look like going forward. So thanks again. I appreciate you guys. Love you all. And as always, up the Toffees. We'll see you real soon, guys. Talk to you this week.